All right, and we're live. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Nina Nicole, and I help driven women entrepreneurs attract their ideal clients online by helping them with content creation strategies and social media strategies. Today in the hot seat, we have DeAnne Joy. So I'm going to hand the mic over to her, the invisible mic, over to her, and let her tell you who she is. So DeAnne Joy.
Thank you so much for having me. I super appreciate this and I'm so excited. So, hey guys, my name is DeAnne Joy. I am a women's transformation legacy coach, and my superpower is working with high performing women beyond 40 who are lacking joy, clarity, or fulfillment in any aspect of life. I help you reclaim your mojo, turn your pain into purpose, and redefine midlife so that you create a life you're totally jazzed about and enjoy with those that matter most while making an impact on the planet.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I usually start with your clients. That was a great intro. However, what are the top 3 benefits you think they get after working with you?
I think that they begin to live their life on purpose. In other words, living consciously, living each day as though it were their last. I think they move through their own healing and transformation. And in other words, gain resolution on blocks that are in the way, things from their past that might still be popping up in areas that they can't quite see. Gaining resolution on those things, or on, just self destructive or self-defeating patterns that are not working for them. They get beyond those. And, I think most importantly is that they get really clear about what their contribution is, what the larger purpose is that they are here for on this planet. And they take action in the direction of living that purpose, not looking ahead to after they're gone, leaving a powerful legacy, but actually living that legacy now, today, while they are still here. So I think those are probably the top 3 things that I would say that they get from, working with me, and just stepping more boldly into, owning their space as a powerful, deserving woman, capable of creating, whatever life she chooses to create. So, that's the fun part for me, is seeing women seeing them really step into and own their power.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But what I wanted to ask you, when you say contribution, what does that look like a tangible thing? Do they start their own business or a nonprofit? What does that look like when they're living?
It depends on, so we go through a process called the Evolution to Contribution Clarity Assessment. And, basically that identifies kind of where they are now, where it is that they want to be as far as, what they want to contribute in their life and what the gap is in that difference. So how we get to identifying what that contribution is by digging into what their journey has been, because what I believe is that, our purpose in being on this planet is within our journey. So somewhere within our experience in life, the challenges, the triumphs, the tragedies, the things that we've overcome, all of those things, and just our life and career experience and education, all of those things, somewhere within all of that is our gift, our purpose in being on this planet, the thing that we are supposed to share. But until we go through our own healing and transformation, our own evolution, and put closure on those things, until we do that, we can't get to what that contribution is. Does that make sense? So It's sort of, that's a part of that whole journey, because the biggest thing that I hear from women in midlife, and for me, everyone has their definition of women in midlife, but I'm looking at women between 40 and 65 ish. So, but the biggest thing that I hear from them is that they're not satisfied with their lives. They don't feel fulfilled. And partly because they don't feel like they're living fully or living their life's purpose. And they don't know what that purpose is. What am I here for? What is that larger purpose? And, what they don't realize is that it doesn't have to be on this grand level. It's really just a matter of, digging in and being introspective and asking yourself some tough questions and some deeper questions about, what kind of legacy you want to leave, what you want to be remembered for, what are your values, what are your beliefs, what matters to you, where do you want to give beyond, what you're doing in your everyday life. If money were not a consideration, what would you be doing, with your time? What would you be doing? So those higher level kind of questions that, that's part of what we explore in the work that I do.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. And forgive me, did you say evolution to revolution process, or did you say evolution to
contribution? Okay, evolution to contribution.
And that's something that you created yourself, or is it a process that you took from
No, that's something that I created.
Okay, so you created that. That's cool. So in that process, what does that look like? Is it like the evolution? Is it like a 7-step or a 5-step process that takes 3 months or a year? How does that look for?
Well, you mean in terms of how I do the change work and how that looks in terms of programs? So I have a group coaching program that is 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. And that is primarily, it's kind of a hybrid, but it's primarily digital and self-study. And then I come in and do live training once a week. So there are self-study modules. And then I have a 3-month private program, one-to-one program. And then I also have a 6-month one-to-one program.
Okay. Thank you. And then in all of those programs, you take them through your evolution to contribution process, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So the program is called No Regrets, Live Your Legacy, Leave Your Legacy.
Okay. And then they have the option to either do it in group format or 3 months or 6 months, but you're basically going over the same processes with all the different programs you have.
Right. Going over the same processes, but the one-on-one is much deeper. It gets much deeper and much more individualized.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's kind of a walking with you through the process, whereas the group program is much more self-study than the one-to-one program.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So now I got a little bit of more of understanding of what you do and who you're serving. So now this is your chance in the hot seat to ask any questions that you may have right now. I know you sent me a list, but still you can ask questions that you have.
Okay, so can I just give you kind of the 75-second version of where I'm at in my business? So I was a therapist for 25 years, a clinical therapist, mental health therapist, and I've been a coach for about 15 years and had a prior coaching business many years ago, maybe 12 or 15 years ago. And that was primarily doing academic coaching with kids. But I also have been trained besides my therapy background, I've been trained in neuro-linguistic programming and emotional freedom techniques and, just some other alternative kinds of healing and change work. So about 2 years ago, I decided that I'd always kind of done this as a side gig and it's a side hustle or working for someone else. And a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to make it a full fledged, sustainable and scalable business. Mm-hmm. So prior to about a year ago, I literally knew nothing about online entrepreneurship. I had 0 cup to hold it in. So I have immersed myself in this whole world of learning online entrepreneurship and solopreneurship and, marketing and this whole thing I've learned and immersed myself into. So this has only been really since February that I launched this first program. So I feel like I'm still very much in the building stages. And also I have limited I have limited access to funding right now. And that's a temporary thing, but we're cleaning up some old, credit stuff. And so I don't have access to traditional funding. So everything that I make goes back into the business, but it's always been on a shoestring budget. So I've built in the last year, I've built my website, my core story, my copy, my first funnel, all of my nurture sequence, my signature program, landing page, my automated email system. So that's basically, and my Facebook group, and I've got a Facebook group and business page and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of the things. So that's what I've done in the past, less than a year or about a year. So basically where I'm at right now is I've actually got a boatload done. I'm not one of these people that takes a course and doesn't do it. I implement everything that's suggested by people that know more than I do. I implement it. And so I've done a lot and I've built a lot. However, right now I am doing it all myself. And it's at a point where I'm not quite sure what the next step is for me to focus my attention, my energy, and my resources, my financial resources, to build this, to start to get some real client traction, some consistency in income, because I'm not getting that right now. So there are various things that I think are not working. And what I really want to do is start to get things consistent so that I can lay a foundation to make it sustainable and eventually make it scalable. So that's kind of where I'm at in this whole process. Does that make sense, or is that just way too much?
No. For sharing, and thank you for sharing, and kudos to you for taking action and doing the work, because there's a lot of people who say they're going to start a business, and then they say, oh, I need to put up a Facebook, and 6 months later they still don't have a Facebook. But you have everything, you have everything all together. I always say, it's you have everything, it's a puzzle. You have all the pieces, but it still feels like they're not put together the right way so you can get.
That's exactly the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I would describe it. Yeah. I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and I've put a lot in place, yet it just feels like somehow I'm missing some links. Some things are not quite together the way that they need to be to give this the momentum it needs. As far as my results, I get astonishing results with, I have the perspective of many years as a traditional therapist with what I do now. And, so I see the power and the ease and the quickness of the transformation that I can help create, that I help facilitate. So I get astonishing outcomes. I have no insecurities about the quality of work that I do. That I'm really solid on.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And I could see that. I wanted to ask you, because you said something, because you did NLP and EFT. I didn't do EFT, but I was a patient of EFT.
Got it.
A buyer. Do you, emotional freedom technique for those who don't know EFT.
Right. Or tapping. It's also known as
tapping. Do you incorporate that in your programs now?
I do. I basically incorporate every single thing I've ever done or been taught on the face of the planet. Somehow it's all incorporated and synthesized into my own signature style and my own signature program. So that includes definitely NLP. It includes tapping. It includes guided visualization, hypnotherapy, meditation, mindfulness, and then, more traditional kinds of, interventions, but not a whole lot, because the stuff that I've learned is just too quick and too powerful and, and longer lasting. It just works. So that's the stuff that I use. So yeah, I incorporate all of that.
Okay, great. Because I was looking at some of your lives, and we'll talk about that later, but I saw somebody mention something meditation, but some of the lives I saw, I didn't see all of them, but I saw some. I didn't hear you talk about hypnotherapy or EFT? You don't talk about that in your lives, or you just wait?
No, I don't talk about, well, I don't talk about hypnotherapy in that, I don't use that verbiage, just because I find that there's a certain segment of people that it will sort of scare off before they even know what it is. So I talk about it more as guided visualizations, guided meditation, guided processes, that kind of thing. So I don't talk about it in that way, and more of the guided processes that I do are more NLP based than hypnotherapy. So I just don't call it those things. You know what I mean? I guess I don't necessarily label what it is that I do. So I don't talk that directly about tapping. I mean, unless I'm doing a live on it. Okay. Which I've done. I've specifically done some on them, and I've done visualizations and, sort of self-hypnosis or guided visualizations, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. So thank you. So, it sounds like you're doing all this stuff, right? And I think people get, not you, but a lot of people, they get so caught up with the sexy marketing, and people are like, oh, you need a sales funnel and you need an opt-in page and you need all this. So we have to start thinking about, what is your biggest challenge right now? I think you told me, but I want you to share it, so we can just make sure we're on the same page.
Well, my biggest challenge is not getting clients consistently, not getting paid clients consistently. That's the challenge. I don't know exactly what the reason is for that. I don't know where exactly the gap is, because I'm, doing, things, I'm doing things that are, in an effort to build my visibility and my reach. But I also think it's also as simple as, I'm not asking for or inviting the call, the discovery call, or the sales call, or the sale. So I think maybe, people get really sensitive about, and with good reason, but people get really sensitive about etiquette on social media. And it's definitely a learning curve that I've had to learn. But I think maybe I'm so conscientious and so careful about, not wanting to be promoting where I'm not supposed to be promoting, that, maybe I'm just not taking advantage of the opportunity that is there for me to, and I'm holding back, because I don't want to, overstep the etiquette boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure where and what I should and how I should be making invitations to a call, or, a discussion or a free coaching call, other than, how I'm doing it, which I can share with you. But I think I'm not sure where exactly to be doing that. And I'm probably not doing enough of it directly.
Yeah, sometimes. So yeah, I would like to, because I have some ideas that I would like to offer you, but I want to know what you're doing, so I don't tell you what you're already doing. So what have you been doing?
Okay. So I have built my Facebook group. And the way that I did that was through targeted Facebook ads, just like a $5 a day, very simple ad, funneling, targeted clients to that group. And over that time, I've really nurtured that group, and I do regular lives in there, and I do trainings, and I have theme days, and I've really been working on my engagement in there. So I do feel like I promote in there, and, I try to have a real balance of just really good content and engagement, and, also offering, whether it's free sessions or, they're the first ones to know if I'm running a special, or, inviting them to do, I just run as part of my social media visibility. On certain days, I offer certain things. So one of the things that I offer is an intro breakthrough coaching session for 30 minutes. And I also offer a discovery call. And I also offer the evolution to contribution clarity assessment. So those are the three things that I offer. So besides that, I have very recently started Instagram. Like I had zero Instagram about a month ago. And I have recently gone through and branded my Instagram and I've optimized it. And I've got an opt-in there on my LinkedIn bio. I've got an opt-in. And on my, excuse me, on my LinkedIn page, I also have an opt-in. On my the big picture on the front page, I have an opt-in there. And then I have my my business fan page, and at the top of that, I have an invitation to the group because the group is a closed group. So all of those things, I recently just did a 12 days of giveaways. So I, do that. I have an email list of about 250 people or so, I want to say. I don't probably use that as much as I could be, because I send maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week if I have something going on. Okay. And then I'm active in several groups where my people hang out.
Okay. That's great. Thank you for sharing. So I wanted to go back to your Facebook group for a minute, because I joined your Facebook group and I can't remember. I think I had to answer like 3 questions or something like that, right?
Right.
And I can't remember what the questions were. But have you ever privately messaged people that are in your group? Privately messaged them?
Yes, with the intention of just building a relationship, or with the intention, with what intention?
With the intention of, I'm going to tell you, let's see, with the intention of inviting them to a breakthrough session, but in a way that is a win-win for both of you. Because I feel like when people come to your group, they answer the 3 questions, and I can't remember if you say, what is your biggest challenge, right? And then you look at what that person's biggest challenge is, and you would say, hey, Nina, let's use me as an example. Hi, thank you for joining the group. I want to make sure that you're getting an insane amount of value. I see that you are struggling with focus. That's what I struggle with, focus. And I know how hard it is to struggle with focus, and then say your spiel and say, I want you to get value out of this group. And for you being a valued member of this group, I'm offering a free 30-minute breakthrough session where we will talk about XYZ, right? And then I would love to talk to you, to get to know you better, to see what you would like out of this group, and to schedule a session with you so we could just get to know each other. Does that make sense? I'm streamlining it and stuff. You can make it a little better with what I'm saying. But if you're reaching out, doing that personal outreach, because right now I feel like your main goal is to focus on sales funnels and all that stuff, and opt-ins are great and stuff, and they have their place. But right now your main challenge is getting consistent clients. So we need to figure out how we can get clients in the fastest way. One of the fastest way, if you're not going out networking, and we'll talk about that later, is to get clients on the phone with you, because you know that you are powerful once you get on the phone, and that you can sit there and tell people about your processes and stuff like that. So how can we get on the phone with you as fast as possible without having them jump through all these hoops at first? Because your main goal right now is to get cash flow into the door. So you have like around over 200 people in your group. These are targeted people that you got from Facebook ads. They've been in your group. They're not falling off, right? So I would do, I think you told me, I don't know if you still have this person, you have like some kind of assistant or virtual assistant or something that's helping you.
Right.
So you can actually have your virtual assistant do that legwork, right? You make a script or whatever, and then have your personal assistant message all your group members for you. And you have to be careful, because I think with Facebook, you probably want to, if you're sending a link, you probably want to message 10 people a day, or do it in a way where Facebook is not going to ban you or put you in Facebook. Okay. Does that make sense?
Do they have a Cliff Notes for Facebook jail? How do you know how to avoid Facebook jail? Because I hear so many nightmares about people just being put in Facebook jail and not knowing why. They need a Cliff Notes on what not to do, because I don't want to end up in jail.
Yeah, I can for some Cliff Notes, but I'm just do not spam people. Don't send a lot of links, because if you send like 15 links, people or Facebook is going to be like, oh, it looks like you're spamming people, so don't, like, when you're emailing people, don't send like a link after a link to every single person you email. Does that mean when you're messaging them on Facebook or whatever?
Okay.
I feel like you have, and especially look at people who are also like engaging and commenting on your posts and things like that, because it's so weird. Like, I'll give you a tip with me is that I'll engage and I'll comment on somebody's post. Like, I want to hire somebody next year, and I'm always engaging on her posts. I'm always commenting and stuff. And I knew that I wanted to hire her, but I'm like, I'm not taking that final call. And then today she actually sent me a voice message. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you sent me a voice message, because I was going to reach out to you, right? But I wasn't taking the initiative. So you have to think, like, like engaging and liking your posts and doing that, and they're engaged and stuff, reach out to them first. But still, the people in your group, that's where your real estate is. Private message them and make that personal connection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. And I do that with people that are engaging. I'll sometimes what I'll do is record an audio message for them and send it to their email. Or, reach out to them and invite them to, if I happen to be offering at that time, a free coaching session or whatever. But I love the idea. I hadn't thought of it, of doing that when they opt into the group and answer those questions, because I do make note of, what people are responding, but I don't make note of it attached to what person shared it. I make note of it more as, these are the biggest challenges that women in my group are facing. So I love the idea of acknowledging, I do reach out if they're coming in with heavy stuff, or, I'll send a quick note just to say, hey, welcome, just wanted to say, sorry you're going through this or whatever. But I like the idea of just being really proactive with that and doing that with everybody that comes in. My question would be, because I know for me, I really, when I join something, I don't like it when I immediately get bombarded with stuff. Usually it's by other members that see someone as a potential client and reach out. I get, I just get sort of leery about that. Do you find that at all? Is that something to be concerned about at all, that people would feel as though, as soon as they join, they're sort of being, approached with, starting the sales process with them? Do you think there's any risk of that? Or do you think generally people would be open to outreach when they join a group?
That's a good question, because I'm thinking about how I feel when people approach me. But I feel like this happened to me first. If they like you, they're opted in for a reason, right? They're having a challenge. Right. Spoke to them in a way where they're having a challenge and they look at you as a potential solution to that challenge, right? So the reason why I say identify with their problem and their pain point, because that makes that connection that they're just not like enough, they're joining to a group. So this happened to me where the person was like, oh, Nina, I see that you're struggling with focus. I'm like, wow, this person really took the time to find out what my biggest challenge is. And and then said, as a part of a member of this group, I invite you to a free session or whatever. It's just like, they're like, oh, it's a win. I'm a member of this group. They can take it or leave it. And if they're not clients, they're going to like delete or whatever. They're going to eliminate themselves. The job is to attract and repel, right? So the people who have a pain point and look at you as a solution, they're not going to look at it as, and it's you could say no obligation. They could take it or leave it,
Right. Okay.
I don't feel that will be a challenge, because as long as you're resonating and relating to them and letting them know that what they're going through, Okay.
All right. Cool. I'll definitely start doing that. So do you think that because right now, honestly, I don't have a whole lot of, I get the occasional new member in my, joining my group. But it's definitely not like it was when I was running the ads. Are those, I guess, and I don't know, maybe this is a question for later, but as far as where it makes sense to spend money on paid ads, if it makes sense to do that right now, would it make sense to work on driving traffic to the group again? or is that not something that I want to just be focusing on the people that are already in there? Because I'm not getting a lot of new people joining right now.
Okay. You could focus on the people that are in there, but it like depends on your budget because you were doing $5 a day. So if you do an ad again, you could still drive people to the group because the people are in the group, right? And then they can ask the questions to get into your group. Once they're in your group, send them a private message and then direct them back to your email address at a later time. Because the reason why I like sending people to groups because you don't have to go through that whole funnel process right away. When sales is your main focus, when getting clients is your main focus, you have that high touch right there. If that person comes from your ad to your group, does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just wasn't sure if that was the best place for me to be focusing, whether I should be doing ads to the group or whether I should be doing ads to, inviting to a call or, something else or, directly into a funnel. But I get what you're saying, that the whole idea is to make it as easy and accessible as possible and not have to go through the funnel because, people might, I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought of it that way, that going through the funnel is actually extra layers that, that they could drop off of at any point. So I guess that makes sense to focus on growing the group and nurturing that because those are my highly targeted people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think eventually at one point you can get the group people into your funnel, right? But we have to think about like the lowest hanging fruit right now because your main purpose, your main goal is get more clients, get more sales in the door. And what's the easiest way to get in the door? You want to put somebody through a 7-day funnel and wait 7 days where they may or may drop off because they have short attention spans or whatever.
Right.
Let's see what's the fastest way to get them on the phone. And I do want to say also, I'm for funnels, don't get me wrong, but we're like, what do we need right now? We need cash flow, right? So even if you do a Facebook ad as well, there's a way where you could do it as a double-edged sword, right? As far as instead of sending them to, you could send them to your group. And so what I would look at, what I'm doing or going to do, it's a Facebook ad, then a Facebook ad to like a small, like maybe I want to say 10 or 15 minute video or less talking about your evolution to contribution process, right? Or whatever, talk about like the benefits of, and when you talk about the benefits that they're going to achieve working with you, and then just discuss your process. I don't know if it's like 7 steps or 12 steps or whatever your process is, just break it down in like a 10 or 15 minute video, right? And then say, under that video, you can have like a little link that says book a call with me or book a call. What are you using for your schedule? Like Acuity or Schedule Once? Do you have
Set More.
Okay, Set More. So you could just have like right under book a call with me or something like that, where it takes them right to your scheduler, right? Okay. Once they go to your scheduler and book the call, I don't know what you're using, but I think I know I use Acuity, so I'm pretty sure like it may be similar to Acuity. Like after they opt in, they get a email that says, hey, your call is scheduled for this, but you can customize the email. I know in Acuity, I can customize my email where I can join my group, join. Does that make sense so far, what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
So that way you're getting people on a call and inside of your group. And it's not like this big complicated funnel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure that's something that I can do. I don't. The other thing that I'm working on is getting I have all these pieces, but they're not all put together. Like I have a discovery call questionnaire that I have people complete before they come through, but it's not automated right now. That's part of the other challenge is like where to automate, where to focus on automating so that I can focus my attention on, having the conversations and, focusing on these. But I like the customizing the email and inviting them to join the group. Cool. Okay. So 2 Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could, Yeah, definitely. So you could do that. And you can also do that without a Facebook ad, right? Like if cash flow is tight and stuff, you can do that, but that's going to take some legwork because you're going to have to do like the organic content marketing, which takes more time, right?
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Yeah. And video and podcast, whenever I can speak about what it is that I do, I think that tends to be where I get the most engagement. Definitely. I do well with video and I do well with podcast interviews. So I actually do really want to do the model that I really wanted to do was the paid ad to the short, 10, 15 minute or 5 to 7 minute or whatever intro video to webinar to discovery call. That's the format that I originally wanted to do. I didn't want to do all this funnel stuff.
You could still do that. You could do that too because a webinar converts. Like if you want a sales call, the next best thing is to do like a webinar or a masterclass or a workshop and things like that. But if you have that set up, like let's think about like, I always go back to what do you need right now? You need cash flow. Like the main thing is to get the people on the phone, right? And like what's the way to get them on the phone? You could still do like the Facebook ad to the webinar, to the discovery call, to the 5-minute video to the webinar. Those work well too, but you have to really think like how much time is that going to take you right now? And you need cash flow right now. Does that make sense? Right.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are there other thoughts that you have about where best to focus with, getting clients, with just generating more consistency with clients, like in terms of what to focus on now or not? Because there are, you saw, the things that I'm spending my time doing. I do have assistance with my social media. So I do have an automated, or I'm in the process of getting that set up, an automated social media system. So I have some help with that, but I spend a lot of time on social media, a fair amount of time on social media. And I don't know whether or not that's the best use of my time right now, or if I should be focusing that time elsewhere.
Media exactly. Like, will you spend you spend a lot of time on social media, but what are you doing on social media exactly when you're on social media?
So I am going into my group, posting in all of my things, engaging. I have basically a spreadsheet of the groups that I'm in. So I go in and do whatever post is, that day in that group. And then I always, I comment on at least a couple of other posts while I'm in there. So that's basically it. That takes a fair amount of time to do all of that.
Yeah.
But that's basically what I'm doing, is engaging. And then I'm intentional about my posting. I'm either doing, I'm learning about just social media posting and stuff. So I do, I vary my posting, and it's based on what the theme of that group is. It's based on what my own themes are for the day. I spend time in my group, nurturing my group. I've got a lot of followers in the UK, so I have, a 6 to 8 hour time difference. So I try to make sure that I'm posting twice a day at those peak times, so that I hit the UK followers as well.
Okay, I have 2 questions. One, when you say you have the UK followers, you try to post in the time frame that's good for them. So you're going in there live. You don't have any automation set up, because you're setting that up right now, right? You don't have automation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's it's not entirely set up just yet. That's literally in process. So my expectation would be that in the next week or so that I would have those scheduled. Okay. And set up to be automated.
Did you decide on which automation tool you're going to use? Yeah.
Well, I decided based on a couple of things. For right now, I chose to get in on the Marketing Solved, TASI. part of the reason that I decided to get in on that is because I was able to get locked in at a really low rate. And the wealth of the vault training is phenomenal, just that alone. It's honestly not the most ideal because they're in the early stages of developing the platform. So it has limited, like it only right now posts to Facebook groups, or no, to Facebook business page. And then in a very short while, it'll be adding Twitter and Facebook groups. And then it will add Pinterest and Instagram. So it's not ideal in that sense. So I don't know that I'll stay with it. I might want to go with something like Hootsuite, but there's so much value in there for, you know, the $47 a month that I got in on, that I'm taking advantage of it while I can and using all those resources because they're just amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah. So I like it. It definitely has some drawbacks and it's not the most ideal. I know that, but I'm learning as I go what I want and what I don't want in an automated, you know, program.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. So another thing I wanted to ask you, you said you go in Facebook groups on spreadsheets. You have a spreadsheet on whatever day to post. Are you only going in those groups on promo days and posting, or are you in those?
No.
Okay.
No, I go in based on, I don't necessarily go in every day, but I whatever their themes for the days are, I post based on that. But I definitely don't go in just on promo days.
Okay.
Yeah, I engage and do other posts that are not promo.
Okay.
Promo posts.
Okay, great. And then speaking of promo days, do you promote on promo days on other groups?
I do promote either a free coaching session, or I promote the discovery, or not the discovery call, but the evolution to contribution clarity assessment. I just recently did a 12 days of giveaways, so I'll post that, and then my funnel, my freebie that I have. I have one that I have fully automated and set up, but it just is not converting, and it's too much. It's too spread out over too many days. So I have another one that I think converts much better, but I don't have all of the nurture sequence set up for that. So I've only got a couple in the automation. But so those are the various things that I promote depending on what I have going on at that time.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Another thing I wanted to ask, like in the groups, because I know like a lot of people join, like when you join the groups that you are in, did you ever introduce yourself in those groups?
I do.
Okay, you introduce.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, great. All right. And then you post, and then you go in and you engage on different posts. Do you engage on posts that only that is only affiliated with what you do, or do you engage on different posts, like a wide array of topics?
Yeah, no, I just kind of pick whatever speaks to me or whatever I have a response about. I don't necessarily limit it to just who I think my, potential clients might be or related to my area. I just kind of connect with everybody.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you. I forgot the question. No, I wasn't. You had a question. So the question was like, are you using the best your time best in these groups? That was your question, or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I am spending a fair amount of time on social media, and part of that I think is I've just recently figured out that there is actually a way to do social media. And so I've been immersing, I didn't even know that, like there's actually a way you're supposed to do this stuff. So I'm in the process of, getting a system in place to be able to do it. So maybe that's part of why I'm spending so much time, is that system is not quite in place yet. Yet I feel like I'm spending a fair amount of time in there. I don't know, maybe I'm in too many groups, or maybe I'm, trying to engage on a daily basis and should just be doing, a couple times a week. But it feels like I'm spending an awful lot of time doing social media stuff. And I build relationships well, I connect with people well. Mm-hmm. I don't know how productive that is, if that's as productive a use of my time. So
yeah, I understand. I can totally relate. And I'm kind of biased because I'm a social media person, so a social media expert. So I'm like, oh, you have to be in there every day, like some people. But at the same time, it's like you have to be realistic because you have life. Life goes on, right?
Right.
Like you have to target, like, what's your most engaged groups? Because there's some groups that people are in or we are in. I don't know if you are, but it's just like a whole spam fest, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
Spam. Nobody's having a real conversation or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Though they have a lot of people, it's like, okay, but everybody's just promoting their stuff and there's no conversation. So like, let's see what groups are doing that and let's see if we can eliminate those groups right now, right? Or like not like delete them, but just say, let's not focus on those because there's no real connection and rapport. So let's just focus on the 5 or 10 that I'm getting the most traction with, and those 5 or 10 that I'm getting like the most traction with or the most engagement with, let me just really rock these groups and go in, whatever your strategy is, whether you want to go in 5 times a day, not 5 times a day, excuse me, 5 times a week or 3 times a week. You could say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to post in this group. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to come in and I'm going to offer my value, 3 tips to, getting clear on whatever or something like that. I'm going to offer that value and these highly targeted and highly engaged groups that I'm really making real connections with. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Instead of being all over the place. And then when you have your system set up or whatever, you can have your assistant or whoever automate the process for the other groups or go in the other groups and post on your behalf, right?
Right.
That's what my assistant do. Sometimes she posts content on my behalf, even though I'm the one who wrote the content. I'm not in there. I'm only in there engaging. Like she'll post the content and then when people start responding, that's when I go in and engage and start building that relationship.
So how does she post on your behalf? How do you do that?
Well, I give her access to my Facebook. She has access to my Facebook. So she has my login.
Okay.
And
okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I think there may be a way if you don't want to give your assistant your passwords and stuff, there's like 1 password and things like that where you have to give him or her your password.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes total sense. Okay. That's good to know. All right. Let me see what other brilliant questions I had, because I know there were a bazillion. Let's see. And I know there were a number of things that you had some thoughts about. I don't know if you've shared all of those or if, excuse me, or if you had any other thoughts that you wanted to share.
Let me see. Thoughts.
Oh, I know. Were you able to access my website at all?
Yeah, I accessed your website. Let me see if I could go back there. Did you have specific questions about your website? Your new website?
Yeah, just about the copy in general and the the capturing of getting them into my world. Capturing that email address. Just any thoughts that you have about how it looks and the copy that's on there. I mean, specifically, not how it looks pretty wise, but. And then,
yeah, sure. So I'm at your website. I think this is private, so you guys just use your imagination, right? I like the picture of you that's right there, but I know some links are not working because it's the
right.
Private.
The links are not set up yet.
Right. Where this yes I'm ready at is the yes I'm ready an opt-in, or what is that?
Yes.
Yes I'm going to. Okay, that's an opt-in. Okay.
Right.
So let's see. Are you ready to rock midlife with joy? And what is the opt-in they're getting?
They're getting an opt-in called Unstoppable Woman. Like 5 keys to rocking midlife with joy, peace, and purpose, or something like that.
And what is that? Is that an audio? Is it an ebook?
It's a PDF document. Sort of like a mini workbook.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So I'm looking at this now. It says, are you ready to rock midlife with your joy, passion, purpose, and no regrets. Okay, let's see. As a result of working with me, high performing women beyond 40 who are lacking clarity, joy, or fulfillment in any area of life journey through their evolution so that they can step boldly into their contribution. So my question to you, I know that you did a lot of research and you talked to your clients or your prospective clients and talked about the challenges they're going through. Like, what are some of the main themes that keep coming up, or some specific like words, or like frustrated or overwhelmed, or is there any kind of words that pop up all the time?
Yeah, unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much overwhelmed, unfulfilled, unhappy, unsatisfied, lacking clarity,
Mm-hmm.
lonely,
Okay.
unsure about the future.
Mm-hmm.
I would say those are some of the big ones.
Okay, thank you. I feel like, I think it's two ways. The way when copywriting, which is like writing to sell for the people who are not familiar with copywriting, it used to be like problem, agitate, solve, where you announce the problem, then you agitate it, then you agitate and agonize. But now, like, since you're dealing with like women who are older, and like, I think in general, like marketing, the way we write copy change is like, we want to talk about their challenge and their pain point, but not in a way where we're like agitating them and making them annoying, make them feel bad. You're not doing that at all. So I'm not saying that you're doing that, but like you're talking about like good benefits stuff. But I feel like I want to see like, I think with this headline, I probably would have to make it a little more clear exactly, like stating who you're talking to, because if I come to your site, I don't see, I see that at the bottom, but I'm at women beyond 40 who are lacking clarity. I think I would put that at the top, like something I have to figure it out. I'll think about that. But what I wanted to do, let me see, you're a powerful, discerning woman who is ready to rock midlife. And I think here you could be like, if you're like most of my clients, you're probably feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, unsatisfied. However, I know how you're feeling because I can relate, because a few years ago, I was feeling the same way until ... until I discovered whatever you discovered. Does that make sense so far, before I go on without having?
Yes, that makes sense. That's basically what's in my story.
Okay.
Is that.
Let's see. But I think right here, I think you want to like just get them, like engage them as soon as they come on to your website. Like as soon as they come onto your website, like make sure that make sure they know that you understand what they're going through. Does that make sense?
Yes.
People come to you, they're going through challenges. They're really feeling this emotion, and they really want to feel like you really know what they're going through without making it feel like you're making them feel bad. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay.
And let's see. Here's the thing. Let's see. Yeah, I do see a lot of stuff that I like, because it's like, it's absolutely possible to change those subconscious patterns, and you're telling them that it's possible. They can learn how to silence their inner critic. They can gain. You're telling them the benefits here.
Yeah, the part that where it talks about the pain points, maybe you can look at that part where it starts with "yet even with the best of intentions."
Let's see. Let me check right here.
After the "you're a powerful, deserving woman" section, right after that.
Yet, even with the best of intentions, you find yourself feeling as though life is passing you by and you're not living fully or living your true purpose. Know this: you're not alone. High-performing women in midlife. I think with that, as high-performing women, I would. That's been too far. Okay. Here's the thing, you may not even be aware of the blocks that are holding you back. That's where you want me to look. You may not even be aware of the blocks.
Right.
Patterns become deeply rooted in subconscious, so learning these patterns in the brain so that we keep responding on autopilot in the same exact way, even though it doesn't get us the outcome we want. Our time on the physical planet is not finite. We are not born with expiration dates, and we follow the people who like to change our environment tomorrow, something we can promise. Let's see. I was trying to think if that could be like a little more ultra specific. Like, you may not even be aware of blocks that are holding you back from creating the life that you want and deserve. Like, what kind of blocks would those be? Like, so I can get an idea. I'm not going to tell them in the copy, but I'm just trying to get an idea of how we can like make it pop. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what kind of blocks, might be, excuse me, not being able to manage their thoughts and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Having, the mind chatter, the, inner critic that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve, I'm not capable, all of that stuff that can really hold people back. And oftentimes there are, self-defeating patterns that have developed in early childhood that sort of become finally, they become rooted in our subconscious. And so, and we're not even aware of that. And that might be, being triggered by something and reacting the same way over and over and over, even though it never gets us the result that we want. So, patterns like that are repetitive patterns that, are not serving us. Those are, some of the things that would be blocks that are, getting in their way. Old resentments and old, hurts or wounds or, things like that have not been healed, that haven't had resolution on them yet. Those are blocks that would hold people back. And just limiting beliefs about, their deservingness, their ability, their money conversations, their time conversations, their, all of those, their worthiness, all of those kinds of conversations, the inner thoughts and beliefs. Does that answer your question? Those are a bunch of examples of what kind of blocks that they might experience.
Yeah, it does. Thank you for answering my question. Thank you. So I'm just thinking, I was just writing down and listening to what you're saying to see how we can make it so it's like you may not even be aware of the blocks that are holding you back from creating the life you want and deserve. And I'm thinking like, let me see, the one thing, here's the thing, the one thing that you're doing is you may be operating from hidden beliefs, habits, and patterns.
I don't know if other people are interested while this is up, because I know for me, when you did the last hot seat, it was really helpful to follow along. So if they want to go, I've got it up right now, but this is a work in progress, but it's DeAnne-Joy or DeAnne-Joy.com, DeAnne-Joy. If they want to follow along. I know for me that was helpful to do.
Yeah, no worries. I'll put that on the screen right now. I meant to ask you, I didn't know if you wanted to show them or whatever.
That's okay. I don't mind. I know. Yeah.
All right. So I'm thinking like, how can we make this in? I probably would have to think about this a little more and then get back to you, but I'm trying to think like right now, as far as you may not even be aware of blocks that are holding you back from creating the life that you want and deserve. How can we make that more specific? I would say like, you may not even be aware of the one thing that you're doing on a daily basis that is sabotaging your relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, okay, the one thing that I'm doing, so what am I doing? Because I'm doing something and I know that my relationship can be better, or I'm subconsciously sabotaging my relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make it like specific to something that they can relate to.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see what else. What else? This thing, you may be operating from hidden beliefs, habits, and patterns that were developed decades ago, often beginning with early life experiences. So let's see, decades ago. And then, like, what the operating from hidden beliefs, habits, and patterns that were developed decades ago, often beginning with early life experiences. What are some examples of that?
You know, parents, you know, got divorced, witnessing, you know, violence in the home, those kind of, you know, more traumatic early life experiences that have to do with traumas or abandonment or abuse or neglect or loss, you know, experiencing an early loss, whatever it is, that those things in that developmental mind of the child, whatever they make up about themselves and the world around them in that, you know, in that moment. For instance, you know, my dad died when I was 15 years old. And so there was a real, you know, a belief that I sort of developed about, you know, that, you know, people are, you know, it doesn't matter if we turn our lives around because, you know, it just ends anyway. And so that was kind of a belief that I operated from as a result of that early life experience and, you know, just how I processed it in my teenage mind at the time. And so it got in my way with, you know, some of the things that I wanted to do and what I wanted to create in my life. So there are, you know, early life experiences like that become even something as simple as being asked to get up and read in front of the class in second grade and having someone make a comment or having a teacher comment. And at that moment, just like that, it becomes a subconscious block that says, you know, my mind doesn't work the same. I'm not as good of a reader. My brain isn't as good. And so that's something that then, you know, is carried with them subconsciously until, you know, they change it, until they change that subconscious belief. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It really does. Thank you for sharing that and giving me some insight. And like everything I'm saying here is just like a rough draft, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really helpful just to hear that. And I know you can't go through, you know, like all of the copy, but I get what you're communicating as far as, you know, really speaking to that one avatar, that one ideal client. Because obviously not everyone will necessarily have a relationship that they're sabotaging every day. Yeah. But kind of picking that one thing that speaks to that ideal client that they can relate to. I totally get that.
Yeah, and definitely I could use other words or terms and stuff. That was the first thing that came to mind without knowing like a deep dive of your ideal client. You gave me a kind of a taste, but I really don't know exactly all the pain points that you know, because you know them intimately. So like,
right.
So like you may be operating from hidden beliefs, and we could play with a lot of different words and stuff like that. But I would say like, I don't know, how do you feel about the word trauma? Like, because I feel like a lot of people can identify with trauma, right? As far as the word, they know what it means. Does that make sense?
How do I feel about the word trauma? I don't necessarily, this probably comes more from my background as a therapist and working with severe trauma. I'm not sure that I want to attract trauma. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure that that's necessarily the depth of what I want to attract. You know, they know when they have trauma and I deal with the trauma, yet I'm not sure that I want to attract women that see themselves as having gone through trauma, because that it's a much more serious, deeper trauma. And I think that's just not where I'm necessarily at right now, if that makes sense. I might be overthinking that based on my, you know, my therapy background, but.
No, that's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to.
I mean, I do talk about, I don't use the word trauma, but I do talk about, you know, those early life experiences, those traumatic early life experiences. And I talk about that often in my lives. So and early losses and things like that. So it's definitely a concept that people resonate with and they get, even though they haven't necessarily thought of it in that way, once they hear it, they get that they are operating from, way back in their early life and not even realizing that they're still carrying that shit with them 4 decades, 5 decades later.
Yeah. That makes sense. So I asked because I'm like, you may be operating from hidden beliefs, habits, and patterns that were developed decades ago, often beginning with early life experiences. I feel like we could change that, in a way where it says, you may, I gotta rephrase it some way, like negative childhood experiences may be holding you back from taking action on living out your true desires, or we can even get ultra specific of what that true desire is, right? Or something like that. Or does that make sense? Like negative experiences may be holding you back from taking action on doing the things that you really want to do in life, whether that's ... Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that makes total sense.
Let's see what else.
So I'll definitely work on the copy for sure. I'm curious to know, did you, as far as just the messaging in general, because I get that there are some things that I can do to make the copy more compelling, but the messaging in general, does it make sense to you? As far as the website, did you feel like the overall messaging was clear?
To me, I feel like it's clear. It's like basically the gist of it is like, when I finish working with you, I'm going to live my best life and I'm going to be living on purpose.
Right.
That's what you're trying to convey, because that's what I see when I read it.
Yes, absolutely. And living each day fully as though it were, your last, and, not waiting to leave your legacy, but rather living your legacy today. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is there anything else that you would suggest as far as optimizing, who I have access to now, with, the shorter term goal being generating, some clients and some cash flow? Are there other things that you would suggest that I have access to now in terms of how to leverage my Facebook group, my email? Well, we already talked about my Facebook group and private messaging them, but my email list, the groups that I am in, or any of the things that I have kind of hanging out there now, the people on my email list, the people in my group, the people in the other groups that I've been building relationships with, to leverage any of those relationships or those opportunities. Any other thoughts that you have about that?
To leverage the relationships or the opportunities, like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, just to like we talked about, with the goal being to get more people on the phone. Are there any other suggestions that you have about, just the other things that I'm doing, the people that I have access to, whether it's through my email list, or through my Facebook group, or just my general posting in the other groups, particular things to offer, or other than, what I like offering just a 30-minute intro breakthrough coaching session?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about that. With your email list, I was on your email list, so we could talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I think with your email list, because you're really good, when I was looking at your lives, what you're really good at, and I don't know if people told you this before, but you're a really good storyteller, right? You tell stories, and I'm engaged when you're telling your stories. You told a story about the cow.
Oh my gosh, right?
Right? But you're a really good storyteller. So I feel like with your email, the people that are on your list right now, like when I know you said something about your open rates being low. So when they don't open the email, do you send them another email with a different subject line, or you just let it go?
It depends. So during the 12 days of giveaways, I would resend to the people that had not yet opened that email, and I would just change the subject heading slightly. You mean like doing an altogether different subject heading to see if it's more compelling to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
What,
Okay. No, I hadn't been doing that.
are you using MailChimp or what are you using as your
I
platform?
use Active Campaign.
I use the same thing. Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
familiar. Okay. So yeah, I like them. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I saw, if you don't mind me sharing with you or whatever,
No, not at all. Please do.
I opted into your list, right? And I see like, okay, it's kind of, I think, again, you have to test stuff or whatever, but I think sometimes I don't see you putting like the personalization, like putting the name, like saying like, hey, Nina or whatever, because hey, Nina sounds more informal than hello, right? Hello
Mhm.
sounds corporate. So if you put like a hey and then the name of your subscriber, they're more likely to
It
open.
should have that on there.
Yeah, it should have my name, like my personalization.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see that in here. Let me just go to double check because I didn't see.
Okay.
Um,
Because it
I don't.
should have.
Yeah. So okay, so you're aware of that because yeah, a lot of these they don't have my name in the subject
Hmm.
line. The subject line, I don't see my name at all.
Oh, I don't put them in the subject line generally. Is that what you mean? Put the name in the subject line itself?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Right, because if you just say "Hey Nina" or whatever, that sounds it appears like it's an email from a friend, and I'm more likely to open it because it sounds conversational and you're addressing me. And again, sometimes you have to test it because I was doing some research. Some people say, "Oh, don't put the name in the subject line," and some people say, "Do and don't." But it's like you have to just
Right.
check what works with your audience, right? And then I see
Okay.
another thing with your subject lines that I'm looking at right now. I think I see a lot of like, let's see, I felt like a fraud. I literally made myself sick. I see a lot of I. Have you ever heard of the radio station WIIFM?
Yes.
Okay, what's in it for me? So
Right.
like,
Right.
I mean, like if you do like a couple of simple tweaks, like for example, that like I felt like a fraud, you can turn it into have you ever felt like this, Nina, or whatever, like the name, and like have you ever felt like this? And they're gonna be like, what? Felt like what? And there it's piques curiosity where they're gonna be like, oh, let me see, let me open it, right?
Okay.
Um, let me see what else. Stop feeling bad for taking care of yourself. I like that one because it speaks to it. All right. Stop feeling bad for taking care of yourself. That's pretty straight to the point. Let's see what else. Another one.
What
Um,
is a decent open rate for email list?
well, the last stat I heard, and I don't know, I have to look at it, but the last stat I heard was like 20%, which is still very low, but that was the last stat, and I have to check on stats, but the last one I heard was like a 20% is decent, right?
So I've had between 20 and 40%
Mm-hmm.
on and so I've gone and kind of looked at my campaign because then I've had some as low as 10 to 15%,
Okay.
really low, but the majority of them have tended to be around the 20 to 40%. But this whole copywriting thing, like, because I can learn how to do it. I mean, I think I've picked up a lot, given that I knew nothing about it. I've picked up a lot, but it's a lot. I mean, is it something that you suggest that, is important to learn how to do yourself because you do so much, writing and communicating, that your personality has to come through? Or is that something that's better to hand off to someone else to get some guidance or some help with copywriting?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I feel like even if you decide to hand it off later down the line, you still need to learn it so you can know a good copywriter from a bad copywriter, right? And
Right,
at
right.
the time, the copywriting is one of the most expensive skills that you would outsource in your business. Like sales pages, people charge like $10,000 to $20,000 for a sales page because it's a lot of work. I used to be a copywriter. I used to write sales pages, so it goes a lot into. They dig into a lot of research, getting into your ideal client's mind, then interviewing you, thinking about your process and how you like to work and your language and stuff like that. But I feel like there's some copywriters. I know one that I said I was going to give you her information, and I'll give it to you now. She doesn't write copy anymore, but she has like courses, like her course, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
like a $200 course or something like that or whatever. It's called like the Sales Page Kit, where she's really good. Her name is Courtney Johnston. She just got married, so she changed her name to Courtney Chaal, I think. But I think you can still find her under Courtney Johnston at the Rule Breakers Club, right?
Okay. Okay.
But she's really good at writing copy. She's phenomenal. So when I was writing copy, I was like learning from her and learning her style as far as like her YouTube videos and her blog and stuff like that. But she's really good and she can simplify it. But as far to answer your question, I feel like you can learn it yourself. But then when you start getting the budget, if you want to, you can outsource it. But it's going to be very expensive to outsource it if you're working with a real.
Okay. So it's worth learning the skill and learning how to get good at it.
Yeah.
I feel like so much, I didn't realize that I really did not understand what marketing was. Like I did not realize that, literally literally our entire business is really marketing. Like it's all marketing all the time. You're constantly just communicating what it is that you offer and how it is that you do it to your target client. Like that's all we're doing all the time. I didn't realize what marketing really was. It's just talking about what you do and finding a compelling way to talk about it.
That's exactly right. You said it perfectly. And I wanted to put in a caveat or disclaimer here because like you don't have to be like this earth-shattering copywriter, right? Or whatever. You can still make money in your business by learning just the basic fundamentals of copy. Basically, you write in a conversational tone, you tap into your prospects' pain points and challenges and bridge the gap and show them, paint a picture of what it's like after working with you and tap into their desires and invite them to work with you, right? It's like there's a formula. I don't know. You probably, if you're reading copy, the formula that I use all the time is AIDA, right? It's attention, interest, desire, and action. Like there's a lot of different copywriting formulas, but right, the basis of it is get their attention, get their interest, tap into their desires, then have them take action, invite them to the next step to work with you so you can help them get to their desires. Simple.
Right.
And then use the words that they're using and throw it right back at them.
Right. I gotcha. I get it. The good thing is I totally get what you're saying about, and then the whole reason that I have done most everything myself over this first year is for exactly that reason, because I wanted to know what I needed to ask for help for. I wanted to have a cup to hold it in and know what I needed to ask when I hire someone on Fiverr or, when I outsource something. I need to know what it is that I'm asking for and what it is that I'm getting back and what the language is. So I get that. It's a freaking learning curve, this whole thing, It really is. So let me just say this, because I know we got to wrap up, but I really genuinely appreciate the value that you give and your genuine interest in being in service and being of service to people. I get that's really important to you, and I appreciate that. So thank you for doing this, for the opportunity to do this, and for all of your feedback. It's really helpful, and I really hope that it helps other people. I was madly taking notes during the last one. I found it so helpful, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're getting help. I know you probably have to go too, but I don't have to go right now because I did want to talk to you about a couple of things that I was thinking about when you were writing the question.
I'm totally okay.
Yeah, because this is my last hot seat of the week before I go away. So you're lucky.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So I think with your lives, you're really good on video, like you said, right? Or whatever, So with your lives, I feel like you can have a clear call to action. But a thing is too, how can I put this? Like, and because you do different work than just like regular marketing, but like 3 reasons why. Are you familiar with like listicles and stuff like that, or 5 mistakes you're making and this and that?
Yes.
That, right? Because I'm feeling like in your live, like every time I do a live, or every time I tell people to do a live, I would like for their lives to be like actionable, because I want your prospect that's coming to you to be like, wow, I got a tiny result from her free content. I wonder what her paid content is like. So if somebody comes to your live or whatever, how can you make it where they're going to get an insane amount of value? They can go ahead and take one simple action to get closer to their result, right? So I know you do like guided meditation. I don't know, let's just say like 3 reasons why you should meditate. And then you go reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, right? And then after you tell the reasons, you could say, if you want, and I'm just using this, we can get deeper too. I should use a different example or whatever. But if you would like more tips like this, I'm offering a free 30-minute breakthrough session where we will use guided meditation to help you get more clarity, break through your blocks or whatever, or where you can discover the one simple thing that you need to do to move forward in your life, and things like that. I'm offering a free, no obligation, 30-minute breakthrough session. I would like to invite you. And even if we don't work together, you're going to walk away from this session with 1 or 2 strategies that you can use and implement immediately. So book a call with me right now. Does that make sense? And of course, yes. Mind the wording.
Yes, makes awesome sense. I actually just came across, in fact, I think it was in the TASI resources, 15 live headlines that, that convert. So it actually just got me thinking about it in that way, and doing the 3 things, individually talk about them and then recap the 3 things or whatever it is. So I'm definitely going to start structuring them in that way.
Yeah. Like mini trainings, and invite them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think you had asked me, because I don't know what you're doing with your lives at the moment. Like, are you repurposing them? Because I told you about a downloader, because you have an iPhone, right? Like,
yes. Yes, I have an iPhone. Yes, I am. Part of what I have my marketing apprentice doing is converting using Temi. I use Temi, converting my audio and video into content, usable content.
Okay.
Yeah. However, if you have any tips on how to repurpose it, like in real time, like I do the live and then I, like repurpose it more with a quicker turnaround, I'm really open to hearing that. Like I have her, converted into, written format. But I know you had mentioned something about on your last hot seat about doing, like when you do a live training, that I haven't quite gotten to Instagram stories yet. That's still new to me, but I know you were mentioning like doing a little 15-second clip and then inviting them, back to your training from there. And so I don't know if there is a way to repurpose, like easily and quickly like that on the same day. Is that what you're saying? Or are you talking about just getting the content into a different modality, like visual, auditory?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, but I was talking about like the same day, like for example, this Be Live, because Be Live, I use this tool, and after the broadcast ends, excuse me, I can download it and upload it to YouTube, right? So once it may sound like it's a lot, but again, I like doing this. But I upload it to YouTube, and once I upload it to YouTube, I download it to my phone. I have like a YouTube audio downloader. I download it to my phone, then I trim the video to like a minute or 15 seconds, and then I upload it to Instagram stories. However, I don't know if I mentioned Ecamm Live a few times, so I don't know if you're familiar with Ecamm Live.
What is it?
Ecamm Live.
No, I'm not actually.
So Ecamm Live is pretty similar to Be Live or whatever. But it's a one-time purchase. I think it's like $80 software download that's downloaded.
Oh, okay.
And then you could do like a Facebook Live. However, like the Facebook Live, instead of downloading and uploading with Ecamm Live, you could just upload that to YouTube. It automatically uploads to YouTube for you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's easier. But as far as like an easier or more efficient way to repurpose, I don't know right now besides what I'm doing. I can check into
Yeah,
that.
well, that's helpful. Just knowing that is helpful. I do have a YouTube channel, but it doesn't have anything on it right now. What I'm trying to do, like Twitter, I don't do anything on Twitter except I do have it connected so that when I post something on Instagram, it goes there. That's the extent of what I do. So if anything comes from Twitter, that would be a bonus. But on YouTube, because I know that video is somewhere that I excel, so I really want to at least get it set up. I don't want to take on like driving traffic intentionally to another platform because I feel like I've got enough with Facebook and Instagram right now. But I do want to just get it set up enough so that I can actually just be getting content on there, just getting my videos on there. So I haven't quite figured all of that out yet. So that's something I'm still working on, is how to get those videos uploaded to YouTube so that I can have something on my channel.
Okay.
Or downloaded.
You already have, right? The videos that you already have. Okay.
Right. And videos that I do from this point forward.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely, I think you can have your assistant download the videos from Facebook and then have your assistant upload them to YouTube. I did want to say something about that too, but like, it's so easy to use like a tool like Be Live or Ecamm Live. So every time after you do your live, you can just automatically upload it to YouTube. However, traffic is traffic, whether it's coming from YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Like you can get traffic. Sometimes they get discovery calls from Instagram. Sometimes they get them from Facebook Live. So it's just like wherever they're coming from, that's where I'm going to test it, right? Yeah. But
absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't want to take on another platform, like learning how to, master another platform, because I feel like I've got to master Facebook and Instagram. Yet I do want to just have my stuff available, so that, I'm reaching whoever it is that I'm reaching. So that's what I'm saying. I want to get YouTube at least set up so that people can find me there.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. That's an important point, because I do see a lot of people, they do try to do like 6 or 7 social networks at a time or whatever. So it's like, just learn one or, one or 2 max, but master the one and then move on to the next.
Right.
You're being about that, definitely. I did want to ask you another question or share with you, because you're really great on video, and I wanted to know, are you familiar with like 3-day live stream series? Or have you
like a summit? Are you talking about like a summit sort of thing, or what do you mean by 3-day, like a challenge, or?
No, just like it's basically like a 3-day, it's like an extended live, right? So
okay. No.
About like your process. Like I want to use myself as an example, because I think it may be easier I have a 3-step process, right? And it's called strategize, socialize, sell. You're going to this 3-step process to get clients online. So with a live stream series, what it is, it's just like a 3-day, like, live stream where I'm talking about each step of my process. Like day 1, I'm going to talk about strategy. You need a social media strategy. Day 2, I'm going to talk about socializing. You need to socialize to get clients. You need to build that relation, that rapport. Day 3, I'm going to talk about, selling on social media and how to sell in a way that's not slimy, salesy, or pushy. And then on day 3, I'm going to open up, hey, I have a free breakthrough session, or I'm offering my one-on-one group coaching program or something like that. Because you're really good on video, and I feel like you're doing a lot of like funnel stuff and this stuff, and that's fine and dandy. But as I said in the beginning, we have to really focus on sales. And I feel like 3-day live stream is so easy. There's not tech, right? You could do it in your group. Growing your group and stuff like that. So I feel like if you do a 3-day live stream talking about like your evolution to contribution process, like just talk about the steps that you're taking your client through. Like, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the benefit that you're going to get. Like day 1, whatever, let's just say it's like evolution, I'm not sure. And then day 2, you could say whatever the steps are in between. And then day 3, you could talk about like painting a picture of what it's going to look like. after working with you, and then invite them into your breakthrough session. Or even if you can promote your entry level program, whatever it is, your group program or or 90-day program and things like that, and to say, I'm offering free breakthrough sessions, and these are limited spots. You want to create that sense of urgency so people can
right. Okay.
Are lazy and they wait till the last minute and they procrastinate. I think they have time or whatever. But I really feel and I sense that I think if you do like a 3-day live stream series and really, and it's not complicated. It's less complicated than a webinar and, and the funnel and stuff like that or whatever. It's easy that you can do in your group. And then you can just guide people because number one, they're seeing you on video, they're talking to you, they get to ask questions, they get to engage with you, and it's very interactive and you're right there. And then you can also email the participants after your live or whatever and say, thank you for joining, this, that, or, you build that relationship.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like if you simple 3-day live stream series, even if you want to have 2-day, if 3-day is too much, you could do a 2-day, but I feel like 3-day is a good amount of time.
How long would you suggest having those videos?
Having
the each day.
How many minutes? Well, I think like I'm going to do this next year because I'm taking off for the end of the year until the end of the year. But I would say a good 45 to 1 minute. I think 45 minutes to an hour, because I want to say this. It's like, give them your best stuff. You know what I'm saying? Give them a taste of what it's like to work with you, because you really want them to feel like, wow, she's giving so much value. I wonder how much her paid stuff is. And I know a lot of people, I don't know if this is you and stuff, but I know a lot of people are so scared to give away their best stuff. You know what I mean? Because they think, oh, they're not going to pay me. And if I give away my stuff for free, they're not really going to pay me. They are, because they're going to be like, wow, this is so great. If you give somebody a result from your free content, they're going to be willing to buy from you. Right.
Exactly. Okay. So are you talking about 45 minutes to an hour for each day?
Yeah, for each day.
Okay.
And that seems like too much. You can do it for 35 to 40 minutes. I mean, it's up to you and your process.
I can get talking for 45 minutes to an hour easily.
You can test it, but I really want you to make sure that it's benefited and it's oriented and it's pure value of helping them break through whatever they need to break through at this time.
Okay. Cool. I can definitely do that. I can definitely do it.
I think you're on the right. Go ahead. Sorry.
You mentioned like sending them an email after. Would that be something they would register for, a 3-day live stream?
I mean, you can register. They would register for that through the live stream or whatever. But register, because you can put up an opt-in page easily, right? Or you have your assistant put up an opt-in page and stuff like that.
Right.
If you want to make it more value packed, you can. And I don't know how much time you have or your assistant has. You can do like a worksheet for each day, right? Like whatever your process is and stuff. I think you already have worksheets already, right? Because
I have a lot that I can pull from already.
I have a lot of worksheets already, so that's, you don't have to create anything. So you could just say, here's day 1, here's your worksheet. Day 2, make sure you show up live, whatever, and stuff like that. So if you could just put up a simple landing page with an opt-in, it doesn't have to be like a big funnel with 7-10 emails or whatever. With day 1, day 2, day 3. That after day 3, put in the email, say, hey, did you hear on the live stream I introduced whatever your program that you introduced? Because I feel good on video, and that way you're not. It's an immediate like result, because you're not waiting for somebody to go through a drip campaign and a funnel. Which, as I said before, those are important. But right now, let's focus on getting you cash and clients in the door, and let's the fastest way to do that. Right.
Okay. All right, cool. I will definitely do that. Awesome. These are super, super helpful tips. So I'm going to have fun implementing those.
That's great.
I will definitely let you know.
Yeah.
How they work, but that helps. And also just the process of applying for this and, getting some questions to you, help me to kind of zero in a little bit and focus in on really what it is that I need, what I'm looking for, where I need some help, what I need to focus on. So this helps give me some specific actionable things that I can focus on right now. And they're just things that hadn't occurred to me. So I really appreciate the feedback.
Oh, my pleasure. Do you have any more questions? Do you have like specific questions?
I don't think so. I mean, I've monopolized a lot of your time already, but I think, most of, what I wanted to talk about, I asked about. I did ask you offline about the rapid list building opportunities like summits and giveaway events, and if those are, worth participating in.
Yeah, I really think so. I was planning one with my coach. We're mapping out for me to do a telesummit next year. And I actually did this.
Okay.
I had a coach a long time ago, which was list building. I bought a course called List Building Something. It was like Shanda Sumter or something like that, where now she teaches it a little differently because like the marketing has changed a little bit because like years ago, there wasn't like Facebook Lives like this, there was, but it wasn't like as prevalent as it is today.
Okay.
So I think with participating and the giveaways and list building and stuff and telesummits, that's a great way to build your list because people are going to be opting into your free gift and getting to know you. And then like you're connecting have you ever heard of OPC? Other people's customers.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes. Right.
So yeah, I think any way you can get into kind of a big audience and leverage that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I think that's probably enough for now. Oh, I know one last question. If there were one sort of by shortcut, I don't mean like a quick and dirty thing, but I mean like to shave off some of the time to, build and, get a foundation going. If there were one thing that would cut some of that learning curve off, is there any particular tool or resource or anything that you would suggest at all? Like, even if that is, investing in a coach or, whatever it might be, just to cut that learning curve time and shorten the learning curve with getting traction.
Shorten the learning curve with getting traction. I mean, yeah, it just depends. Like, I feel like shortening the learning curve is like definitely invest in a coach because a coach can really help you and help you get laser focused and clear. Because you have that you have blind spots and they can see past.
Right.
But it depends, like, do you need one-on-one attention? Because there's a lot of different group programs in a mastermind. I told you I joined a mastermind, right? So
yeah,
like masterminds, I feel like are very helpful because you are congregating with a lot of women and men, but the mastermind I am in is a lot of women, excuse me.
Right.
And they're having different challenges and you're having different challenges, but you all help each other and you're all
right.
like either at the same pace or advanced and stuff, and they can help you and show you like, okay, this is where I was and this is what you can do, if that makes sense. Like,
yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've worked with several coaches. That's definitely been part, like, I think if you're going to be a coach, you really have to value you have to value coaching, the importance of coaching. So yeah, I'm always working with a coach in one form or another because I do believe in that. So yeah, for sure. Well, this gives me some really good stuff to work on. So I'm super excited to start diving in and start working on these things.
Yeah, definitely. And I can give you, because I do social media, right? But I can give you some recommendations offline. I'm going to email you because
awesome.
An idea in my mind and I want to tell you because. Okay. So
awesome. I would love that.
Yeah. So did you have any more questions before I give you a drum roll?
No, I'm all questioned out. My conscious mind is sufficiently overloaded.
No worries. All right.
In a good way.
Drum roll, please. DeAnne, Joy, tell people where to find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook on my fan page at Joy Serve LLC. What I will say is, and also my my Choose Joy Facebook group, which is specifically for women in midlife. just a powerful group of women from all over the world. You can also find me at DeAnne Joy on Facebook. And my other, platforms I can put in the comments. Oh, thank you. Look you've got my Instagram on there, my LinkedIn on there. Look at you, fancy pants. All right. That's awesome. The DeAnneJoy.com, just for those that are watching, I just put up for the purpose of being able to follow along, because that is not actually a live website yet. I'm in the process of a rebranding, which means that my business fan page will also be changing to DeAnne Joy. I've gone changing my business name from JoyServe LLC to DeAnne Joy International. So I'm in the process of rebranding and all of that. So I'll be launching that new website. The current one is joyservellc.com.
joyservellc.com.
Yes, and you can also find me in this group.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you. This was super awesome, super fun, and super awesome.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate you for joining me. This is great. It was really great. This is really fun, because I was like, you have like tons of questions, and I just wanted to give you value and stuff. And I really appreciate you taking the time out here. So I'm going to send you an email, and then I'm going to be off the grid until like the new year. I'll still probably be in Facebook.
Good for you.
I'll be off the grid until the new year, and then back in action. So I say this to everybody. Reach out to me if you have any specific questions. You have my email and my Facebook. You can tag me in the group. I'm here for you. Like if you ask me if I have the knowledge, I will create a training, or I'll point you in the right direction, whatever. I'm here,
I appreciate that. You're awesome. Enjoy your time off.
Thank you so much. And you have a happy new year.
All right, I will. You too.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
In that.